Welcome to Barrio Voices, where we highlight the voices of our barrios, familias, and communities. This is Velas, and I hope you're having a good one. Sit back and enjoy la plática. Órale. Now, welcome back, everybody, to another great episode of Varrio Voices. I hope y'all are having a great day, a good afternoon, a good night, whatever time it is that you're tuning in. I hope that you're having a good one. Now, today's special guest is Valentina. She's from a brand called Mission Native. So if y'all don't follow Mission Native, make sure that y'all, give my like all the pictures and everything. Because, with her own brand and her own personality, she really goes to remind us that it's really important to stay rooted within our own communities, remember where we're from. And even though our own barrios are being gentrified and so on, we got to resist, right? And show that we must really stay within our barrios, that we belong, you know what I mean? And so go ahead and tune into her words of wisdom, and I'm gonna have DJ Velas go ahead and play the rola for you all. Alright.
Yes, well, first and foremost, muchas gracias, Arturo. Me da mucho gusto estar aquí. And your words just really mean a lot to me. And so, with that said, my name is Valentina. My name is Valentina Marrufo, and I was born and raised in San Francisco's Mission District. And it's something that I'm very proud of, that I carry with me day in and day out. My brand was, people ask me, how did you, come about, or cómo fue que pasó todo esto? And la verdad fue that Mission Native was really born from pain and grief. Pain and grief of many internalized things that have been happening in our neighborhoods for a very long time. Like the displacement of our people, a lot of people coming in from all over that don't know the mission, that have never lived there, hence the displacement of our people there in the community. And the frustration and the pain and impotence, I felt like there was nothing that I can do as one person to change that. And la verdad, I got tired of feeling that pain and that angst in my heart, because I still work in San Francisco. I still work with families de la Misión, but I can't live there. Pues porque la verdad, I'm not willing, my husband and I are not willing to pay a rent of $4,000, $5,000. And la verdad, pues it's not feasible. I'm not in the tech industry.
No, yeah, I feel like it's just the fact that, like you said, that brand came out of like the despair, right? The willingness of like
Yes.
having the remembrance of like something from home, especially something from the mission, right? La Misión, something that
Sí.
really much identifies with much of our communities, right? And so I could imagine that pain, right, of like having to move away from like a place that you have grown up in, been born and raised in. And so like for that to be what created and what came to be is the mission native, your brand, that really symbolizes a lot, trying to, hold on to something that, has been lost, due to its gentrification within our communities. So, it's that creation of yours really comes to symbolize a lot for our own community.
And I felt like we were disappearing as a people, as a community. And even though when I walk down there, like I said, I see familia still there. We exist. We're still there. We may be 10 people to a room, 15 people to a room. You go down and you go to the restaurants, you go to the bar area that, quote unquote, is so hip, and all the hipsters are there. Who are the people waiting on you? Who is in the kitchen cooking? It's our people. And again, I had to find a way to turn this pain into something positive, because it was affecting me. It was affecting me in the sense that I was angry, and a lot of the things that I said were spoken out of anger. And there's a little bit of shame to that, because I wasn't my nicest at very many moments. And again, I came to the conclusion that I was only harming myself. And if my dream is to be a little bit of hope or a little bit of light to little brown girls like me, I cannot act that way. Y mucho menos en público. I would be doing a disservice to me, to my community, and to display that kind of anger like that. So I had to reel that in. I had to control that. And I prayed a lot and I thought a lot. And Mission Native just came to me in my dream, in my heart. And that's what kind of just spoke to me and said, you need to do something with it. What are you going to do? So you figured it out. Ahora qué vas a hacer?
Yeah, I agree. También there's a poet too that really come to respect. Se llama Josiah Luis Adarete. He's from the Bay Area también. I don't know if you know about poetry too much or have listened to his poetry ever, but he goes to share a poem that details, him reminiscing on those days when la misión era la misión, right? And not as hip or como gentrified como lo es hoy, ¿verdad? And he's saying like, hopefully we have to, hopefully we get to hold on to what we have and no longer have to reminisce, right? That we are able to actually live what's being there rather than having to look back on old days and being like, damn, I remember when El Lotero used to come around, or I remember when the Paletero used to be in this corner or whatever. And so again, yeah, there's a lot that has been going on, and also remember there's a mural there too in the mission that says, once a mission girl, always a mission girl. So even though people try to remove our raza, our gente from that location, right, to bring in more tech families or other individuals to that space, we would always have a tie to that space. And I think also, from your, based on your brand and who you are, what would be some things that the mission really symbolizes for you? What are some things that you are that yeah, what is like the 415, la misión really go to mean to you?
It's my whole life, Arturo. It's everything. I mean, growing up, you have your cultura, you have your barrio, you have your gente. And like you were saying about that poet, how he talked about, I remember when, that's those memories are very much embedded in your brain, in my brain, and in my heart, and in my soul. I understand that there has been changes. Cuando uno camina por ciertas calles, like I see that. By the grace of God, I'm not blind. But at the same time, there are still places that are still there that bring you back to reminisce, right? That feel like home to you. Just the simple blue and red tile that you see on our streets, that in itself, that hits you. You know you're home. I know I'm home. As soon as I get off the BART station and I see that, I know I'm home. When I see the Andas bakery, it's something that I remember being 1 year old and having my pastel de viandas along with everybody else from the barrio. And that was something very special because those cakes were very expensive. Pues las taquerías, la taquería, pan lido, so many different places, la frutería on 23rd Street. All of that is just very much still alive, and it's still very much 415. What we call, Frisco, San Pancho. That's how we identify. When you're the community, you know what we're talking about. And eso lo tengo, pues, it's never gonna go. It's never gonna leave. And we have to hold on to those things, and we have to resist, and we have to put in our part to continue to grow, to exist, and like you said, to hold on to what is still there, because there are places that are still there. Now it's the whole cultural district, right? Sobre toda la 24. And I feel like as a community, we need to support the stores there. We need to support the shops there. We need to support our local brands and restaurants and people so that we can thrive, for they can thrive, so that we don't disappear. That's my fear that we're going to disappear. And I don't want that to happen. And if my brand can make a little bit of that difference, I want to keep going, because I refuse to let people especially people que no tienen nada que ver con la misión, erase us, erase our history, erase our heritage. You can't do that. And we have to fight for that and find our voice in whatever capacity that we're called to do, to remind people que estamos aquí y no nos vamos a ir. We're not going to disappear because you don't want to see us. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, a lot of times it's the ways that they push us out is very systematically, right? And we
Mhm.
are one thing we don't even see it coming when it actually comes, you know. And I think that's the us being involved in leadership positions would allow us to have a very much a say and very much some power on what comes to be within our communities. Based on what you said earlier, it's about when you created that brand, right, you're hoping that other, little brown homitas, other brown little homitos, right, get to see a little more about who they are, right, and get to understand the 415, the mission, what it was, and what it still remains to be, right. And so, what are some words that you would like for the young homies and homitas to really get a grasp of, especially when it comes down to like la mission?
To be always be proud of where you come from. I think that is so important because I think there's a lot of people who shame us
Mm.
for being who we are, because if we're going to be real, when I was growing up, Arturo, there was didn't nobody want to come to the mission. That was a place like, oh no, no, boy, where does your friend live? Oh no, 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 no vas a ir. Nobody wanted to be there, and I think that generationally, some of us still maybe carry that, or what other people made us feel for living in el barrio, and I what I want our little homitas and homies to take away is pride of where you come from, pride of where you grew up, proud of where your mama, your dad, tu abuela, tu abuelo, tus tías, tus tíos, todos venimos de la misión. And to just take that and just be proud and love it and never be ashamed of where we come from, because that's what makes our journey.
And in terms of the journey of the mission native, what else do you hope to accomplish? What else is it? What else do you foresee? As mission native.
I see so many things, so many things. I mean, just positive, my community, just always giving back to my community in any way that I can, whether it's financially, whether it's time, whether it's to give some hope with my words, with my example. Um, I have so many dreams for it. This is just the beginning. I just hope this pandemic really gets to leave us and go away so that I can start on other projects that I have in my heart. To work with younger people, to work with the adolescents, in whatever way that I'm welcome to do so in the community. I've been blessed to have invitations waiting for me once this is all over. And en lo que se pueda, en lo que a mí esté en mi alcance, eso es lo que yo quiero hacer. So even though I may have a plan, sometimes you know that your plan is kind of put on the back burner when something else is called for you, when someone else calls you and needs you to do something, or maybe dar unas palabras. I don't know. And I know that you made a beautiful introduction of me, pero yo no me veo, yo me veo como una persona común. I just see myself as Valentina. I see myself as doing my brand that I love and I have this passion for. Pero if and I say that because I really don't see myself as anyone special, but if people reach out to me and again in works of I'm hoping to do anything for the community that will always bring positivity, that's where I want to be. That's where I feel that I need to be.
I feel like a lot of us, we are just doing our part, in terms of like giving back to our community, doing something that is really needed. Like for example, like Mission Native, they're bringing us a sense of like home, right? A sense of like like we belong here and so on, right? And encouraged to really build their own brands, do their own things for the communities, or just simply be involved one way or another, to better our
Yes.
future and our own little values too. And given that, I was wondering too, like if you had any last words or advice or any last words that you want to share with the audience, those that are tuning in, those that are supporters of your brand, and just are tuning in with a good heart, like you said, having a good heart and just open ears to everything you gotta share.
I Gratitude is what comes to mind. That I'm so, so grateful for each and every person that interacts with me, that follows me. And I know that I say me, I'm the person that's doing mostly everything, right? But my viejo's behind the scenes. He has my back 100%. When I need to go and do vending or anything, he has my back all the time. So besides me, he's there. And also thank him for believing in me. And every time I get a DM from someone that just says the most amazing uplifting things, I realize that my path and my purpose for Mission Native is very relevant, and that I don't want to give up, because these DMs hit me like in my soul, in my core. And they tell me, thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you for making us important. Thank you for making us feel important, feel seen, feel loved. So to all those people who are just there genuinely, like I just thank you from the bottom of my heart. I never ever thought that this would even make it to what it is now. And the only way that this is happening is because of the people that truly support my movement and support me, my creations. I call them my cultural creations. I just don't come up with them overnight. It's something that has to come from my corazón, from my soul, and then, I act upon. So, I mean, as far as just the last words, muchas gracias. Estoy beyond overwhelmed with so much love and positivity that sin ellos yo no puedo existir. I'm only sharing what I have in my heart because I know that I'm not the only person out there. There's so many of us. And I want this to continue to grow and to keep us connected as a people. Because as far as I'm concerned, Mission Native is not going anywhere until Papa Dios y la Virgen Morena tell me different.
And there you have me, gente, another great episode from my corazón onto yours. And know that Valentina also does this from the bottom of her heart, that she really goes to represent my own barrios in a very positive way. So if y'all don't follow Mission Native, make sure that y'all do so. If y'all want to continue supporting the Varrio Voices and get early access to all episodes, make sure that y'all go to patreon.com/Varrio Voices and go on to support this podcast, you know what I mean? But besides all that, I just want to thank y'all for being tuned to Varrio Voices, where we highlight the voices of our barrios, familias, and communities. This is Velas, and to you all, much love, cuídense, órale.